name is David Song again. From New York. Much like everyone, a lot of us, our family immigrated from Korea to the States when I was 2, and across the U.S., LA to Ohio, and then eventually to New York. We grew up on Long Island. Where I went to, we kind of ended up here and there, right? Long Island boy, come on. But we ended up in a town called Cold Spring Harbor. It's a small little town between Sycomore and Huntington Station. And back in the day, there wasn't a lot of Asians on Long Island, right? And so, grew up like typically any white kid in a suburb area. But then on Sunday, I went to this church with Koreans. So there's always kind of this duality of life that we all know, right? Because part of the duality is in our American culture, you have the individual. You gotta do something with your life. You can do it. I love how the U.S. military, they're kind of hitting on this when they advertise the army. It's like the army of one. It's like, whoa, how important is the one? Yet in our Asian culture, it's the value of we, of us, instead of the one. So kind of growing up, it's always interesting. Ran it like Sam Hyung was saying, Sam and Jason and Priscilla. My goodness, when she was wee little Priscilla. Now she's about to get married. I mean, just blows the mind away. I have a younger sister and an older brother, but the younger sister, she's got 3 kids. They're much older now, but I still can't comprehend. She's married and had 3 children. I'll never understand that. And then in January, so I've been in South Africa for over 7 years as a missionary. And, went through college and kind of that thing, and I always knew the whole 9-to-5 thing was not for me. And I did it though for a season of 3 years, and the Lord later released me to go into missions. But it's funny, when I wanted to become a missionary, I didn't call myself a missionary for the first 3-4 years. Because I had this understanding as a missionary is basically, if you get that call to missions, it's like, pack your coffin, you're going to go to these remote parts of the world, and you're going to eat the most disgusting foods and witness the most horrific things, and I was like, I don't want to do that. But God is so funny how He took my small little thinking of Him and started to expand. So now what is missions? It's basically doing your destiny, what God has called you. Whether you are a vocational missionary, right? Somewhere in the remote parts, because there are parts of the world still that have not heard the gospel of Christ, right? Or whether it's in your cubicle, in your office, whether it's in a classroom, whatever it is. Again, having that missional heart. And so, that's been something my wife and I are very passionate about, and we know Sam and the guys here are very passionate about too. But in January I turned 40. 40 years old.
Oh man.
Dang, that's old, right? That's old. Like, when you're in your 20s, you look at the 40-year-old, you're like, dang, they're old. Right? And now that I've hit 40, I'm like, holy cow. Right? And I have to say one thing that is marked. Like, I think God is so clever at these different stages of life. We reflect. We're supposed to reflect every day, but especially in the 40 marker, I've started to reflect on what I've done with my life so far, how well my obedience has been to Him, right? And then looking forward, because I've literally reached about the half-point marker of my life here, and thinking, what's next? And how well do I want to do this? So, it's funny. So I've been reflecting a lot. I'm staying out in New Jersey, Morristown, right, in suburbia again. So it's all bringing back, some of my childhood memories. But it's funny. I'm staying with my college buddy. He's got 3 kids, and I'm like Uncle David, right? So the kids got soccer practice, matches, dance recitals, summer vacation has just started, right, for the parents or the kids. So the mayhem has begun. And it's like, wow, this is the life path I didn't take. Being a parent, we're definitely open to having kids, my wife and I, but wow, such a different life. And so again, I've been thinking about what has made my life, like what has defined my life, really, so far. And so as I've been thinking about it this year, this resounding principle that God has shown me through the years and still is and refining in me, it's been hitting me over and over again. I just want to share that with you this morning. It comes from Matthew 13, verse 44. If you have a Bible, look along. If you don't, you can listen along. All right? Matthew 13, chapter 13, verse 44. I'll read it. It's on the Message. And it simply says this. God's kingdom is like a treasure hidden in a field for years and then accidentally found by a trespasser. The finder is ecstatic, what a find, and proceeds to sell everything he owns to raise money and buy that field. There is the missions organization I'm a part of we're all kind of related to, Youth with a Mission. We have this, one of our fathers of the mission, his name is Winky Prattley, he's a Kiwi guy. Anyway, so I first heard this from him, and I love the way he does it. But I just want to share kind of like the modern day version of what this verse parable is talking about. Okay, so here we have a guy. He's just walking along, whatever, right? And he comes across a construction site, right? And at the construction site, there's like this wooden barrier, right? Obviously to protect people, right? People from the outside, not accidentally going there and getting hurt by the machinery, and also for the workers to know where the boundaries are with their building, right? So, what happens when you first see a wall? What's the first thought that you have when you see a wall? Exactly. Why do they build that wall? What are they hiding, right? I'm in a rock band, and we were touring in India, and India, they have all their gods, and the Hindu worldview and religion is their thing. That's how they rule. That's how they operate. Though the church is growing in India, but we were playing in Pune, right? And they have this massive religious compound. I forget the name of it, but literally, the walls were made out of granite, and they were maybe 20 feet tall. They had security guards with machine guns in the front entrance. My friends and I thinking, what is behind that wall, right? So this guy comes across this wall, construction site, and he starts to get curious, right? Back in the day when they had construction sites with these wooden walls, they used to drill holes in it for people that were curious to see a bit of what was behind the wall. So immediately he thinks, I'm gonna find a hole. So he starts to walk around, and he finally finds one, right? And he gets excited. He's thinking, okay, I'm gonna see what's behind this wall. So he peeks into the hole. And if you ever peeked into a hole, right, you notice that you can kind of see a bit of what's there. But you kind of miss out what's to the left or to the right. If there's some depth or height to it, you can only get a kind of a glimpse. So he kind of sees it, and he sees the tools, what they're using on the construction site, and he gets even more curious because he can't see the rest. So now he's thinking, I want to get behind that wall. So he's thinking, I have to find a loose board. So he starts walking around the perimeter of this construction site and comes across a loose board, right? He looks around, sees no one there, and starts pulling on the loose board. He pulls and gets it off, right? Looks around again, no one's there, and he hops in. He hops in, and past the tools, he sees that they're just starting on the foundation of what they're building. So he jumps into the ditch, right? Whatever, it's dirt, right? A ditch, so kind of inspecting the ditch, corner to corner, he gets to the last corner. And he sees something sticking out of the ground. And again, his curiosity is piqued. He's like, what's this? So he looks around, and he starts to dig. And he digs. And out of the earth, he takes out a box. And I was thinking, what's in this box? He looks around, no one's there. He opens a box, and in the box are a bunch of foreign objects. He has no clue what they are. Now his curiosity is even higher. He's thinking, what is this? Again, he looks around, no one's there. He grabs one of the objects, puts it in his pocket. He closes the box, buries it, jumps out of the ditch, through the fence, and catches a bus. He catches the bus to town, gets off in front of a pawn shop, right? I know it's funny, when I say that quickly, I can say English kind of quickly, like in South Africa, I preach this message, everybody's like, it's in front of a pawn shop? I was like, no, pawn shop. Oh. Right, well, we sell stuff, right? And so he goes to the pawn shop, right? And he takes out the object of his pocket, puts it on the counter, and he asks the pawn shop owner, "Excuse me, sir, what is this object?" And the pawn shop owner picks up the object, looks at it, goes in the back, comes out with a jeweler's eyepiece, right? And starts inspecting it and goes, "I'll give you $5,000 for this." And the guy's like, "No, I just want to know what it is." He goes, "I'll give you $10,000 for this." He's like, "No, I just want to know what it is." He goes, "I'll give you $15,000 for this." He's like, "No, I just want to know what it is." And the pawn shop owner finally tells him and says, "This is the biggest ruby I've seen in my life." Now the dude is super excited, right? He grabs a ruby, puts it in his pocket. He runs out of the shop, catches a bus, takes it back to the construction site, gets off the bus, through the fence, in the ditch, digs up the box, opens the box, looks at the foreign objects again, grabs a second one. In the pocket, closes the box, buries it, out of the ditch, back on the bus, gets off to town, in front of the pawn shop, goes to the pawn shop owner, puts a second object on the counter. And says, "What is this?" And immediately the guy goes, "I'll give you 50 grand for this." He's like, "No, I just want to know, 75, 100,000, 120. He's like, "Finally, no, tell me what it is." And again, the pawn shop owner says, "This is the largest diamond I've seen in my life. And I don't even know its worth." Now the guy's super excited, right? He grabs his diamond in his pocket, runs out of the shop, takes the bus, but this time he goes home. Runs in the house and goes, "We gotta sell the couch, we gotta sell the flat screen, let's sell those kids." And his wife is like, hold on, what's going on?" And he looks into his wife's face and says, "Honey, I have found this treasure in this field that is worth more than everything we own. We have to sell everything so that we can buy that field to have that treasure." Now, it's a pretty simple story, right? And what I love about the story is we can see the story in two ways, right? Two ways. If we look at kind of the main characters, right? One is a guy, right, in the story, that finds a foreign object, and the actual foreign object, right, as a second character. Now we know when the guy represents God, our Father, right, and we represent that foreign object. We know this, right? How when the Father looks at us, the utmost value he sees, right, in this precious jewels, right, that he sells everything, absolutely everything, so that he can have us, right, even giving his son, sacrificing his son. Lately the whole idea of the gospel has just been hitting me, right? Just the simple fact that the gospel was something when people first heard it, they did not believe, for most of them. Like, no way, that's not true. I mean, I can get this for free? I don't have to do anything? I have some money in my pocket, let me give it to you. No. What? It's like someone will walk into the room right now and say, "Hey, I'm giving out free credit cards, no limits, for 24 hours. You can shop until you drop. Oh, and by the way, I'll pick up the tab." And you're thinking, what's the first thing you're gonna think? Exactly, that's a scam. Right? Somehow, some way, I'm gonna make a little deposit or give my bank details or whatever it is, and boom. Right? So then next week comes, and the same guy comes to the room. Says, "I'll give you again, one more time, credit card, 24 hours, shop until you drop." And you're thinking, is this true? It's too good to believe. And for years, growing up in our world, where basically you have to, what your value is tied into what you can do, right? Very simple. Very simple. Are you a lawyer? Are you a doctor? Do you have this? I heard this on TV the other day. Instead of having a job, I want a career. Again, it's tied into our value, what we do. But you know what? I'm realizing more and more how smart God is. He's so smart. Again, I was a little bratty kid growing up in Cold Spring Harbor. I didn't want any Korean food because I went through like an anti-Asian rebellion because really thinking, that white is right. And trying to figure out what my value is, really. And going through that through the years, high school is like a war zone for value, right? And your self-identity. Who wants to go back to high school to relive the high school days? Very few people, right? Because it was so painful, right? But even still in life, right? As we're in our 20s, as we're in our 30s, as we're advancing in our 40s, we're still trying to figure out, what am I worth? What's my value? What's my real value? One of the things I've learned in life is, again, we are in a constant war, right? It's the kingdom of this world versus the kingdom of God. And they're two kingdoms because both kingdoms literally are defined by a different set of values, wholly opposite. What does the world say, about success? Do it, make it happen. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter who you run over, right? It doesn't matter who you sacrifice, but get to the top, make the most money, get that job title, get that house, be a financial success, go to that certain type of school, whatever it is. Success is that, be first. And I've realized, and this is a painful one, as God is showing me this one over and over in this lesson, success in the kingdom is to be last. It's not to climb up that, fight your way up the ladder, it's actually to climb down it. It's not to say, hey, these are my qualifications. It's actually to say, how can I serve? I'll clean the toilet. At times. So again, we're in this constant battle, right? And so what I love is, I said there's two ways to look at this, right? So when we look at the second way, it hits on this identity and value thing. And we just switch the characters. From the guy and foreign object, where the guy was God and the foreign object is humankind, mankind, us, and we just switch it. Where the guy is us, actually humanity, and the foreign object is God. And again, this is how smart God is. This is how I'm starting to understand grace. Because we're always taught this whole thing about grace, right? Like I said before, we can't earn it. There's nothing we can do to strive to get more of it. And there's nothing we can do to lose it. And so here, in this way, if we catch a glimpse of who God is, if we see Him, we will begin to sell everything we have. Our world, I can't stop talking about how intelligent God is. Again, the most, when I was in India, you have all your kind of sub-gods, and this God is a little more powerful than this, or this day your God had a bad day, yeah, we got kind of beaten by that other God thing. I was thinking to myself, why would you want to follow like a weaker God, like these demigods, right? Wouldn't you want to follow the most powerful God, really? Like who never loses? Oh, we had a bad day, bad week, guys, bad month. It's like, no. That is so not logical to me. Really? We want to follow the God that is the most powerful, the most valuable. So if we can stack up literally every resource that we have on this planet, right? All the precious stones, all the cash, all the oil, all the fresh water, all the land, whatever it is that we deem as valuable, it doesn't even come close to God's value. Logically, it makes sense to go after the thing that is most valuable. Most valuable. And I know when I struggle in life, when I go through my personal journey, I'm in 40, jeez, it's a huge marker. And I'm thinking about life, assessing life, letting the Spirit just continue to speak to me about that. There's certain areas of my life that He's telling me to work on, and I'm realizing this. Or asking myself, the question God asks me is, David, when's the last time you saw me in that area of your life? Because literally, He's so smart, this law of value, everyone follows. Even from the youngest baby to the oldest person on the planet. Everyone follows it. And the law is simply, whatever you value, you will go after. Period. You will sell everything. You will work. Was it, when you were younger, you had that, bike route or whatever little job you had in high school or junior high school, but you wanted that bicycle, or you wanted that thing, you wanted that car. You wanted that degree. You wanted to go to that certain university. You wanted whatever it was. You saved up. Whatever it was, you sacrificed to get that thing. And that is a law that, again, all of us follow. And God is so smart, he made himself the most valuable thing in the whole universe, in every way possible. And we can talk about that endlessly, about what this value thing is. But one of the things I wanted to kind of hit on is beauty. How do we define beauty? What is the most beautiful? Again, we have, like I mentioned before, two kingdoms, right? Kingdom of God and kingdom of this world. The kingdom of this world, again, has their set of values on how they define beauty. But God also has, God defined beauty to begin with. What are things about beauty that characterize beauty? If you come to Cape Town, which I invite all of you to come, again, we are always in the top 3 most beautiful cities voted every year in the world. Cape Town is a city where literally the mountains run right into the ocean. I mean, it's breathtaking. I always warn people when they come. You might not want to go back home if you come, okay? So just prepare yourself. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. And one thing about beauty is this. One of the characteristics about beauty, it makes you stop. Right? And I know this is probably the busiest city on the planet, or maybe, I don't know, Bangalore. In Bangalore, those factories run almost 24 hours in India. I'm sure in China they do too. I mean, busy, holy cow. But anyway, beauty stops us. Well, it can stop us. Right? We stare at it. If we can kind of pull away from our busy schedule and actually look at the beauty, it's absolutely breathtaking. But it's one of the most, I believe, least understood things about the world, even about our Father. Beauty. And again, it's not, a lot of times we have our filters of what beauty is. Of the way the kingdom of the world has defined it. I have to be a certain figure. I have to have a certain look. Certain clothes. I have to drive a certain car even sometimes. Or whatever it may be, the criteria of how the kingdom of the world defines beauty. But I love how God defines it. This whole thing of value. Because each one of us has been created by him. Right? Handcrafted by the Father. Literally. Our passions, our desires. Even our hairlines. Growing hairlines, I mean, God put so much time, our Father, into creating us. Our dreams, our visions. Now here, Sam mentioned you guys are working on your vision statement. It's amazing, beautiful. We're just touching more on the beauty that he created us to be. And so in this amazing grace, right, and something that we cannot buy, something that we cannot achieve by works of our hands, another father of YWAM defines like this. You know how you love God? Just simply let him love you. Just simply let him love you. Again, so when we do that, when we make that space for him, when we put down our tools of trying and doing and say, God, show up. And he shows up. And we let him love us. And naturally we will respond. And journeying on this, I got saved when I was 13. So it's been 27 years I've been on this journey. And I realized, and Sam Young and I were talking about it earlier, a bunch of us, it's so easy to be distracted. Even from beauty. I mean, I tell you, I live in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I mean, literally, we have these mountains right next to our house. But if I just get caught in the busyness of the day, I forget that this is a beautiful thing right next to me. I was actually going to put up a picture of my wife. She's beautiful. My wife is beautiful. You need to pray for me because I'm missing my wife a lot. You know? But even in the business of the day, I can forget that. It's really, and I love this, back in the 80s and 90s, stop, drop, and roll. Some of you remember Webster, was it right, for those commercials? Literally just taking time, being intentional, saying, God, I'm gonna let you love me right now. I'm gonna stop. Because again, when we see it, when we see Him in that place we've known failure for so long, when we see Him in that place when we know hopelessness has started to creep in, when we see Him in that place, we will sell everything. We will sell everything because what He has for us, what He is so much more than what we have at this moment. You know, and I was chatting with some guys about this a couple of weeks ago, and you know, every one of us in making that decision is the analogy of we're standing on the cliff. And as much as, you know, I want them to jump off that cliff, I can't make that decision for them. They have to make it. We each have to make that decision ourselves. We own that. That's our responsibility. And I remember when I was on one of my outreach trips to Europe, we were in the Italian Riviera, right, on the Mediterranean, doing cliff diving for the day, right? And my friend and I went to this 50-foot cliff. And we had been cliff diving at a 20-foot one on a town next door. And someone told us, hey, there's a higher one. My friend's like, let's do it. I'm like, oh man. So we get there, right? And we've been cliff diving, you know, all day at this one spot. We get there, right, with the team, and we look at it, and we realize, one, you have to swim out to it first. Then you gotta climb the 50 feet. Thank you. So my friend's already, he's like an adrenaline junkie, so he's already in the water. I'm like, oh man, I gotta do this. So I swim out there, right, with them. We climb up there, right? The rest of the team is watching. And we get to the top of the cliff, and my buddy, again, fearless, literally, walks up to the edge, turns around at me, waves, and jumps. I'm like, you know? And I'm afraid of heights, right? So I inch myself to the edge of the cliff. And I mean, you can imagine, right? It's the Mediterranean. We're right next to the French Riviera. Like the border is very close. Beautiful. It's like out of a movie, you know? And I'm thinking, wow, I might die at such a beautiful place, right? How ironic, right? And then literally the wind, I'm sure it was a slight little wind, but I lost my balance, like, whoa! And literally, my life flashed before my eyes. Have you ever had a moment like that? Where your life flashed? Yeah, you know how it feels, right? Anyway, it's like the movies again, just life flashing before my eyes. And then the movie reel ends, and I heard a still voice from God, and He said this, well, Dave, are you gonna jump or not? And I jumped. You know, and as the only way you know when you take a risk like that, you know, because honestly, when we follow God, when we see Him, that's the first part. The second part is our response. Honestly, as when God called me to the mission field, like, you know, He spoke to me and I did it. And I have seen miracles upon miracles, miracle after miracle, which has just been building blocks of my faith. Parts of the building blocks of my faith. The other side of it is the pain and the sacrifice that comes with it. You know, it's the trusting sometimes when you are like, how can I trust you right now? This is impossible. It's when you have so little and He asks you to give it away. I'm like, but God, I have a family. I have kids. What do I do? You know, so, and that's the That's the other building blocks of our faith, the character that we build. It comes through a fire. But again, the more you jump off that cliff, the more and more you respond to Him, you will see that He either makes you fly or He catches you. So when I jumped off that cliff, right, 50 feet, right, my only worry was I don't want to jump. I want to jump far enough so I don't grate up against the rocks when I fall, right? Because if you don't jump far enough, you know. And when I was falling, at 50 feet, you can actually think in the air. Really? In free fall. I was like, whoa! You know? And then the rule they tell you is when you jump from high heights, when you land in the water, it's like hitting cement. So you have to, one, bring in your arms, because you can break bones very easily in your arms, and also lift up your face. Because if you're looking at the water, admiring how beautiful the water is, you can break bones in your face. So as I was falling, I was thinking, wow, I'm free falling. And then I realized, oh, here comes the water. And I pulled up my face in time, but not my arms. And I was wearing this Velcro watch, a watch with a Velcro strap. And I'm in the water and I feel some pain on my arms, right? And I see my watch floating in front of me, you know? And it was the most exhilarating feeling in my life. You know, my life analogy in my reflecting times has been an onion. And when I was younger, you know, I knew this onion, but I hated every time God peeled back a layer. Because honestly, it's painful. And we all know chopping onions is not the most fun thing, you know? If you get a fan though, apparently that helps, right? But again, when the Lord peels us back and He tells me, Dave, it's another season, it's time to refine. Peel back. You know? I've learned to embrace it more than hate it, though I still kick and scream at times. So, in this space, we're going to do a little exercise to kind of end this. And we're just going to sing a song. But, you know, it's more than just singing a song. If the Lord has spoken to you in any place, if this is speaking to you, of places of growth that you know you've needed growth, that you've struggled with, if you know a place of failure on your journey over and over again and have lost a bit of hope, if you've been so busy with life, you know, because, hey, again, you live in one of the busiest cities in the world and haven't caught a glimpse of Him lately. He's beautiful. How beautiful He is. We're gonna just take some time to do that. Yeah? Yeah? So let's do that, eh? So, in whatever manner you need to get, whatever posture you need to do, please take that. So good to me, through my broken heart. You are my Father in heaven. You are so good. You are so good to me. Heal my broken heart. You are my Father in heaven. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Yeah, you are beautiful. Spirit inside me. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. I will sing again. Poured out all your blood, you died upon the cross. You are my Jesus who loves me. Poured out all your blood, you died upon the cross. You are my Jesus who loves me. Yeah, so just take a moment to listen. As we're listening, for a glimpse, wanting a glimpse of Him. Sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. One more time. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful. Oh, let's sing out. You are beautiful. Oh, let's tell them, let's tell them. You are beautiful. Poured out all your blood. Poured out all your blood. You died upon the cross. You are my Jesus who loves me. One more time. Poured out all your blood. You died upon the cross. You are my Jesus who loves me. You are beautiful. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet. Oh, we want to see you. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Oh, again and again I will sing it. I won't stop one more time. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. I need to see you. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. Oh, let hope rise, let hope rise, let desire rise, let it rise through me, oh God, more and more, more. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet, sweet song. You are beautiful, my sweet, sweet song. I will sing again. I once was lost, but now clearer and more, Lord. We posture our hearts, our bodies, our schedules, our very lives, again, to see more of you, to see more of you, God, to see more of you and less of us, to see more of you and less of us, God. Posture ourselves today in our hearts, in our minds, in our schedules, oh King, to you, to you, to you, only you, to you. Oh, to see your beauty, to see your beauty, to see your beauty again. Oh, to see how beautiful, beautiful you are. Oh, more, 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 Lord. More, more, Lord, more love, more of you, oh God, and less of me. More, more. Thank you, Lord. Today we say